Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. This time, the title is I am still using only your mother tongue when working, and about which I'd like to tell you stories. And so, not in these days, not only these days, but actually, so I have digressed so many times when recording episodes of podcast, which is why not recently, but I have expected such digressions, and which is why when recording or when creating some episodes of podcast, I have told you the conclusion of each episode, which is why this time before my digressing away from the original track of each podcast or this podcast in this time. So I'm going to tell you the conclusion of this episode. Also, this time too. So the conclusion this time is: if you still use only your mother tongue in the workplaces, your careers may be next to destruction. So I'm going to tell you again the conclusion. So the conclusion is: if you still use only your mother tongue in the workplaces, your careers may be next to destruction. So these days, so maybe all the people face the waves of globalizations, which is why so. And I'm creating this episode in 2022 or in the beginning of 2022, which I think is a better explanation for explaining the recording time. So in this time, the Slavic war between Ukraine and Russia has been taking place. Which is that war is taking place even in this moment maybe. So which is why people watch many news. Well, many news things about many news broadcasting things about the Slavic war between Russia and Ukraine. Why I began to call that war Slavic war is because both of those two countries use Slavic languages or Slavonic language families. Which is why I began to call that war Slavic war. So anyway, so I began to digress from the track of the original story. Anyway, so coming back to the track of this episode. So anyway, so apart from, for example, there, of course, I know there are some exceptions, or I think there are some exceptional countries. For example, the exceptions are, for example, maybe China can be an exception. Apart from Chinese people in higher positions of each organization, for example, So when it comes to if you happen to be executive of a huge Chinese company, for example, so if you happen to be an executive of a huge Chinese company in mainland, so you have to at least everybody finds you a great English speaker, because such Chinese executives of huge companies of mainland China have to have the skills of speaking English language, which is a presumable conditions, which is the presumable condition for those Chinese executives. And if you are just an office worker like I am, so for example, if you're working in mainland China, just like I do in my Asian countries, so I don't know your condition, but actually I don't think you need to speak English in your workplaces. So in your workplace using singular term, but actually and other exceptional countries are, for example, Brazil, that is still a huge country, and maybe globalization. The impact of globalization in that country is not so huge, which is just my speculation, or which is just my understanding. But actually, so at least Brazilian people can. I think if Brazilian people begin to study English pretty hard, for example, maybe or to start with, if almost all the Brazilian people begin to study English seriously, a little seriously, so I think they can acquire higher proficiencies of English language, and I think Brazilian people can easily exceed the proficiency of Japanese people in terms of the use or the skill of English language. Anyway, so I think anyway, what I can say is because positive people can the positive people can understand English far better, or really better than much better than Japanese people. Anyway, so and the Portuguese people and Brazilian people use the same language, or that language is because of course Portuguese language. Anyway, so I digress. I have digressed. So, but apart from those exceptional countries, people need English. People need to use English when working. So for example, so if apart from if you are a native speaker of English language and your family members are native speakers of English language, you have to speak English language even for communicating with other members of your family. So apart from such a situation, so maybe if you are a native speaker of English language, and if other members of your family are non-native speaker of English language, you do not have to speak out in English language in your family. But apart from such a situation, so when working, there are many people maybe, and including the workers, or including the workplaces of the general public. So which is why what is going on, what is taking place in each workplace is a kind of a Mongolianization of each workplace. Like there are many people having many or various kinds of backgrounds, or various backgrounds which are different to each other. Such a thing or such an era is coming to each developed country at least. And when it comes to developing country, maybe situations vary each other. And for example, maybe I think there may be some developing country. I think there may be some developing countries where English is not necessary to that extent. But actually, maybe I think other developing countries, maybe other developing countries may need in some certain degree or certain proficiency of English language for communicating each other, for communicating. And such communications are done between workers from the general public, not high classes, or not higher societies, but even people of the general public need to speak out English language, which I think is a situation most developed countries face. Well, so why I created this episode should be what I should have talked about at first. Anyway, so why I created this episode is because there are still some people who find English not necessary, or there are still some people, or in other words, there are still some people who can't understand the necessity or the importance of using English language, which means, so there may be certain amount of people, unfortunately there are certain amounts of people who can't find English necessary. So which is why, so which means not in other words, so there are some people who can't find international communications necessary, which I think is a better expression for explaining explaining the future of that kind of people who can't find English necessarily. Anyway, so apart from such people, maybe including me and including you, maybe. So most people have found English really necessary, and English is inevitable for communicating with other people having different backgrounds, from yours. Anyway, so which is why, so if in such a situation, and whichever country you live in, but in such a situation, if you use only your mother tongue, I don't think your careers have some bright futures. That is because that if you can finish your own works only by using your own mother tongue, that means your works are not necessary, which is what serious people have found. So in other words, so if you work as how should I say, as at least if you are white collar workers, and including I think even blue collar workers need to speak out English in the near future. But actually, if you are white collar workers in some developed countries, at least you have to speak out at least English language, and writing English composition is not mandatory. So it's a presumed skill you have to have, or you have to acquire. So which is why so if you find some people saying that studying English is meaningless, or studying English that doesn't work, for example, if you find such people, you do not have to follow their advices, or you do not have to follow such advices or such opinions, because it's definitely sure. So it's definitely sure, or it's a presumable condition that English is necessary. So which is why if you use only your mother tongue in workplaces, so your careers do not have brighter futures, or bright future. At least so perhaps it can be said, or perhaps in other words, your lives may have some diminished futures. And I don't think it's an extreme expression. I don't think it's an extreme manner of saying. But actually, if you do not have English skill, if you do not have any fraction of English skill, for example, so I don't think you have a bright future. I don't think you have bright futures, which is why. So even to communicate, even if you are, for example, even if you are blue collar worker, for example, I think you should study English. Not really hard, but actually at least you have to get some level, or some sufficient proficiency of English language for communicating with people coming from different cultures, or coming from different countries with different cultural backgrounds from yours. So which is what I like you to this time. So coming back to the original track, or not coming back from the original track, or coming back to the original track, or coming back to the track of this episode. So let me confirm the title and the conclusion at last. So the title is "Are you still using only your mother tongue when working?" And the conclusion is, if you still use only your own mother tongue in the workplaces, your careers may be next to destruction. So if you use, so apart from you're having many mother tongues, and apart from you are native speaker of English language, for example, I don't know which language you speak as your mother tongue. I don't know whether you are French speaker, or German speaker, or Dutch speaker, or any Spanish speaker, or Portuguese speaker, and any language any language is fine. You speak with your friends and with your close friends and with your family members. But actually, so English is necessary. And if you find some people who tell you that English is not necessary, you don't have to follow such opinions or such advices, which is also what I'd like you to know this time. By the way, I might have been using singular term for mother tongue, but actually, so I should have used plural terms, which means I should have pronounced it mother tongues instead of mother tongue. So please confirm this one. Or what I'd like to tell you is that so if you use only your own mother tongues, so mother tongues, each person has different mother tongues, and my mother tongue is Japanese, and your mother tongue can be different from mine. So which is why so I should have used plural term for mother tongues. So please understand it like that. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.